go.
Thank you very much. I want to thank the Association of Fundraising Professionals, Massachusetts, for selecting me as a recipient of the Big Heart Service Award in 2024. I appreciate the recognition, but not for me, but for the Cummings Foundation, for the extraordinary work that the personnel and the volunteers do in the community. I have spent almost my entire life in the greater Boston area. And I thought I knew everything about Boston and the surrounding communities, the cities and towns. But until I began working at the Cummings Foundation 10 years ago, I did not realize how little I actually knew about the area. Reading about the nonprofit organizations and the great work they did in the communities, and even more so, was mind-changing, but even more so was the site visit, where I actually met individuals helping to make life better for all sorts of residents. To show you how consequential the work is, whether it be educating the young, feeding the hungry, housing the homeless, eradicating hate in the community, all of this is going on, and very few people know or understand that because there's not very much media attention to it, but it's happening day in and day out, and it makes the place, Boston, a much better place. So to show you how consequential the work is, I want to tell you about a few organizations. The first one I want to tell you about is a relatively small organization. It's called Mothers for Justice. Organization in Rochester. It was one of the first non-profit organizations I visited 7 years ago. Mona Lisa Smith was the president of the organization, and on the day of my site visit, I went to a very small office in a older building in Rochester, where I met Ms. Smith and her colleagues. There were 7 or 8 women there. And all of those women had lost a son or a daughter that died in the city of Boston. And all wanted to tell me this story. And I spent half a day there listening to them. And I'll tell you, I don't know who cried. However, what struck me the most about that visit was that the women did not give up hope. They had lost a child, but rather than do nothing, they formed and joined Mothers for Justice and Equality with the goal of eliminating violence in the city of Boston. The women interacted with the mayor's office, the police department, the school department. They interacted with social service agencies. They talked with other mothers in the city. They talked with boys and girls in the city. And they even dealt with gang members. And they had a message. Very simple message. Violence is completely unacceptable in the community because of the damage done, not only to the victim, but to the community. All of these mothers had lost a child, and they were still grieving. But they turned their sorrow into positive action, trying to make Boston a safer place. By the way, they succeeded. They began about 15 years ago. If you look at the numbers of homicide and violent crime over the last 15 years, slowly but surely they're going down. So they are succeeding in this. Now, while Mothers for Justice and Equality were focusing on violence and trying to reduce violence in the city, there were all sorts of other organizations doing good work trying to make life better for families and children. I want to talk about 3 of them. I want to talk about Sportsman Tennis and Enrichment Center, Squash Busters, and all Dorchester Sports and Leadership. Under the terrific leadership of Tony Wiley, Sportsman's Tennis uses tennis to bring thousands of boys and girls from the Blue Hill corridor, very underserved community, brings them into the facility. Yes, they learn tennis, but more importantly, Sportsman Tennis has an after-school program that helps elementary, middle school, and high school students. The staff led by Shaolin Man Smart, who's a dedicated educational professional, and she's involved, the staff is involved in making sure all those students not only get homework assistance, but they get involved with programs on reading, science, math, and arts. They have a goal. The goal is to make sure every one of those students who comes to that place graduate from college, go to college and graduate. And if they don't go to college, then they want them to go to a technical trade school, such as the Franklin Cummings Institute of Technology. In fact, one of the honorees here, Dr. Francis Brunson, and they want, and if they go there, they'll get a transformative technical and trade education, graduate and get a job. And that's what Sportsman Tennis does. Squash Busters, Greg Zaff started Squash Busters 30 years ago. Yeah, again, and that's over the facility on Northeast, on Huntington Avenue, Northeast University. They bring young boys and girls from the Mission Hill area into the facility, teaching them sports, but more importantly, it's an after-school program to provide academic enrichment courses that help the boys and girls get through middle school and high school and on to college. Squash Busters has been so successful, they now move the program off into not only Boston, but Lawrence, and they're helping boys and girls in Lawrence now. The last one is all sorts of sports and leadership. It's run by a woman named Candace Garland. It's a relatively smaller non-profit organization, but it's still helping hundreds of boys and girls in the Fields Corner section of Boston. And basically the boys and girls that come from elementary and middle school. And basically they bring them in to sports, whether it be soccer, basketball, softball, hockey, they're there for that. But more importantly, they have an educational resource center for individualized tutoring, academic guidance, and nutrition education. So you see that the thing that when we talk about those three organizations, those organizations are giving hope to families and children in three very underserved communities. And so as a result of their work, boys and girls have more educational opportunities and therefore have a chance for better jobs that they get out of finish up with it. One final organization I want to mention is very close to my heart. It's an organization called Commonwealth Kitchen. It's a non-profit food business incubator in the Grove Hall section of Dorchester. Again, another underserved area. Jen Fago teaches mainly young women, but some men too, all minorities, on all aspects of the food business, so that the individual can make a living in food business, whether it's opening a restaurant, operating a food cart, preparing or creating food that's being sold in Stop and Shop and Whole Foods, or also creating food that's sold at Fenway Park and CD Garden. Ms. Fago and her colleagues have helped launch more than 150 diverse food businesses, created over 500 permanent jobs, and generates over $65 million annually in combined growth sector. Again, in an area that's underserved, he's given hope to a whole group of people. So, as I finish up, I want to actually very important to be involved. So I want to thank a few people before I leave the city. I want to thank my law firm, Wilmer Hale. they've allowed me to do all of my foundation work out of the law firm for the last 10 years. So I appreciate it. I also want to thank my assistant, Lucia DeMaris, here this morning, who she makes sure she keeps me on schedule, finalizes my reports, and makes sure all my reports of the foundation are done in a timely fashion. I became saying without Lucia's assistance, I probably couldn't do as much as I've done for the foundation. So I appreciate that. Also, I wouldn't be standing here without the Cummings Foundation. And I want to thank Joyce and Bill Cummings for starting the foundation many years ago and funding the foundation and all these grants that go out to make these programs available to the whole community. Over the last number of years, 10 years, 11 years, the foundation has given out over $500 million to nonprofits in the greater Boston area and the other communities, and given out something like 1,000 grants to working nonprofits. But without Bill and Joyce's huge heart, we wouldn't be here. I want to thank Joyce and Bill for that. I also want to acknowledge and thank Joyce Berriolis, who's the executive director of the foundation. Joyce has been with the foundation for about 15 years, and she is a very, very important person because she supervises every aspect of the foundation. And the foundation has grown and prospered because of her ideas, her guidance, and her leadership. Andrew, I think, joined the firm about 2.5 to 3 years ago. And like his predecessors, Heidi Hyland, Christina Jefferson, he works very closely with Joyce. But more importantly, he focused quite a bit on the $30 million grant program. And he knows every part of that program. He helps answer all the questions from the volunteers and the nonprofit representatives who contact us. He makes sure all the grants go out of the place. So I want to make sure that those two certainly get public recognition. But I also want to give some recognition to 3 other people. I want to acknowledge Katie Torrey, Allison Hardy, and Chris Wilson, who work closely with Joyce and Andrew in making the Foundation's grant program move forward in a very, very smooth way. All of these individuals at the Foundation have a huge heart. For that, all of you should be very grateful. Finally, and most importantly, I want to acknowledge all the volunteers at the Foundation. When I began about 10 years ago, I think I was the only volunteer. I made the first volunteer, the only one. I read every single LOI. I read every single application. Today, we have 60 to 70 people reading the letters of inquiry and the application. We've got 80 or 90 people doing site visits, preparing site visit reports, and giving information to the foundation. And we have another 35 to 40 people who work on other tasks of the foundation, so that the foundation can give out 150 grants every single year. So I certainly want to acknowledge those people and all thank them for their service and their talent. So on behalf of Joyce and Andrew, Kate, Allison, and Chris, on behalf of all the volunteers who perform so many services for the foundation, I accept the big service. And while it was my heart,